Okay, so we are here in our next lesson, which is finding the discriminant of a quadratic equation. So we have here an example. You have x squared plus 4x minus 21 is equal to 0. Now, in finding the discriminant of our quadratic equation, it's very important that we need to identify our values of your a, our values of your value of a b, as well as the value of our c. So we need to identify first the values of your a, b, and c before we can solve for the discriminant of our quadratic equation. Now, how to identify the a? We all know the a is a coefficient that is beside a variable of x squared. So we all know, since there is a imaginary one beside x squared, so therefore our a is 1. And for the case of b, our b is a coefficient that is beside a variable of x, or any kind of variable with an exponent of 1. So therefore our b is equal to 4. In case of our c is a constant number in our quadratic equation. So the constant number is negative 21. So what is my basis? How do you get a, b, and c? Because we all know that the standard equation of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. So our a is 1, our b is positive 4, and our c is negative 21. So how can we solve for the discriminant? So what is the formula to find for the discriminant of a quadratic equation? So the formula is, you have b squared minus 4ac. So we let a discriminant d equal to the formula b squared minus 4ac. So again, to find for the discriminant, this will be our formula. Now, we just simply substitute all the given values in our formula in finding for the discriminant. So therefore, our b, look at the b is 4. So 4, that is squared. Minus, copy the 4. Parenthesis, the value of your a is 1. And the value for your c is negative 21. Okay? So therefore, we'll need to simplify first d squared. So what is 4 squared? That is, so 4 times 4, 16. Very good. And then, we can multiply negative 4 times 1. That is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 21. Again, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 21, that is positive. Because negative and negative is positive. Yes, 84. Okay? So, 16 plus 84, the answer is 100. So, therefore, our discriminant is actually equal to 100 in our quadratic equation. X squared plus 4x minus 21 is equal to 0. Now, what is the importance of this discriminant? Now, if your discriminant is greater than 0 and the answer is a perfect square, which means if you have a square root of a specific number and the answer is a whole number itself, like for example 100, the square root of 100 is 10. So if ever your discriminant is greater than 0 and it's a perfect square, your roots are actually rational. Okay? Which means wala siya'y square root as well as unequal. Okay? Ug dili sila pareho because they are not equal. So again, if your discriminant is greater than 0 and it's a perfect square, meaning to say, kung imong discriminant, imong square root, ug ang answer is a whole number, therefore, your roots of your quadratic equation is actually a rational as well as unequal. When we say rational, therefore, it can be a whole number or it can also be a fraction. Pwede lang, basta dili lang na siya na ay square root. Imong tag unequal, therefore dili sila equal. So we will try this quadratic equation x squared plus 4x minus 21 in our roots. Now, there are two ways in solving for the roots of a quadratic equation kung asa mo comfortable. First is either mag-factoring mo, or second, you can also use a quadratic formula. So in my case, right now, I will use the factoring. So we have x squared plus 4x minus 21 is equal to 0. So how can I factor x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals to 0? So to factor it out, again, you have to use two parentheses because that is a quadratic equation. So kindly put x in both sides. Now, so again, I already teach you the trick, but it's very important that you need to review your learnings in your grade 8 factoring. So, review tagamay para makibaw ta unsa pag-factor. Okay? So, at this point, I will look for the value for your C. So, again, the value for your C is negative 21. Okay? So, now your C is negative 21. So, therefore, your answers is either the factors are positive or negative, or vice versa, negative and positive, because your C is a negative number. Now, we need to look for the factors of 21 such that sa imong factor sa 21, kung mag-add ka or subtract, ang answer kay ang B nga 4. Okay, so you need to look for that one. So again, imong i-write ang factor sa 21. So imong factor diha, we have 1 times 21. Okay? We have 3 times 7. Okay? Naba kay 4, nabay 5, wala na. Okay? So, murakan mira gyud ang duha ka factors sa 21. So, at this point, imong tan-awon, asa nilang duha kung mag-add ka and subtract, one of them is a positive number and as well as one of them is a negative number. So, mayroon kag 1 plus negative 1 plus 21, layo ra jud kayo, no? Mayroon kag 1 minus 21, layo ra jud kay sa 4. So, which means, wala ni siya. So, let's focus now our attention to 3 and 7. Ang 3 and 7 na to, asa nila, or unsay mga values na to, asa dapit ang plus, asa dapit ang minus, para makaabot ta og positive 4. So, for example, akong positive kay ang 3. Ako negative kay 7. So, we have 3 minus 7. The answer is negative 4. Okay, dili pwede. So, what if mag-negative 3 ko? So, negative 3, positive 7. So, the answer is positive 4. So, pareha siyang duha. So, therefore, ang factors niya kay negative 3 o ang positive 7. Okay. Tara. Okay, so these are the factors of x squared plus 4x minus 21. So now, by the principle of 0, we equate our factors to 0 to find the roots. Okay, so these are the factors equated to 0 and find the roots or the value of the x. So from negative, we transpose nimo siyang positive 3. From positive 7, we transpose nimo mahimo siyang negative 7. So these are now the roots of your quadratic equation. So therefore, the roots are 3 and the roots is equal to negative 7. So from your x squared plus 4x minus 21, again, I will repeat, the first step is to look for the values of your A, B, and C. So now, the values of your A is from the variable of x squared. So that's why you have 1, imaginary 1. For your x or for your B, look for a variable wherein there is an x or any kind of variable wherein usa lang yang exponent or 1 yang exponent. So therefore, your B is equal to 4. While your C is a constant number and you have negative 21, and that's why your C is a negative 21. And then, after you get the values of your A, B, and C, you can now find for your discriminant. So this is the formula in finding for discriminant. Just substitute all the values and you get the discriminant is equal to 100. Now the discriminant is very important because it can identify directly, or we can identify directly through the discriminant what will be your possible roots. So again, if your discriminant is greater than 0 and it's a perfect square, which means kung i-square root nimo discriminant and we can arrive at a whole number, therefore your roots is a rational number or are rational numbers, which is a positive or negative integers, or it can also be a fraction. Pero wala siya square root. Now, it's also an unequal roots, which means dili siya pareho nga roots. In our case right here, we try to identify the roots. Our roots are 3 and negative 7. These are rational numbers, okay, as well as they are unequal roots. Okay, so those are how to find our discriminant as well as the roots.